This is episode number 59 with Mel Wells. Welcome to the Glow Life podcast. I'm your host, Martina Fink, holistic health and beauty coach, Glow Camp retreat host, and eco lifestyle lover. I'm here to inspire you to live a glowing life day in and day out because you deserve the best life ever. Every week, I'll be interviewing international influencers, wellness pioneers, and health and beauty experts who are using their special gifts to make a difference in the world so you can feel healthy, confident, empowered, and beautiful. Okay, let's glow, girl. Welcome back to the Glow Life podcast. Excited to have you here, and I can't wait to share today's episode with Mel Wells, which is going to be an incredible one for everyone who struggles with food and body image and self-love. It's going to be really, really great. So first of all, a couple of updates from me. We have moved to Curacao, which is another island of the ABC Islands in the Caribbean. And the good thing is we have a blender again. So last week, as we're in Aruba, we didn't have a blender and we weren't able to do any smoothie bowls, which is something I am literally addicted to. And if you follow me on Instagram at Martina Glows, you may know that I basically eat smoothie bowls every day when I have access to a blender, of course. So this has been great. We have a beautiful little Airbnb here with a private pool, which is always an upgrade. You know, every time we moved islands, we got a bigger apartment and better equipment. So now we have a private pool, which is really nice. And yeah, we're going to spend the next couple of days here before we move on to our next island very soon. So today I want to talk about zero waste. It's something that I work really hard towards. I would love to live a zero waste life, and you know, it's always great to have goals, but it's sometimes not as easy to kind of implement those things. So when we first started our trip end of January, I was like, I'm gonna go on this trip and just do zero waste shopping and try to use as little plastic as possible and really see how we can travel zero waste. And that was my initial goal. And soon after we arrived, things kind of changed. We thought we had found some farmers markets online that we wanted to check out, so we wouldn't need to buy any produce that's packaged in plastic. But as we got there, we kind of tried to find those markets and they were just nowhere. Like there was nothing, even though it was the right date that it said online, even though it was the right place that we found on Google Maps, it wasn't what we expected. And it's probably because we have a different view on what a farmer's market is, because that's how we do things back in Europe. So that was kind of thrown out the window. And the other thing that is really difficult when you kind of try to live zero waste, but also prioritize your health is, you know, the organic question. So at home, we basically eat organic only because we have a huge selection of products available to us. In the supermarket, at farmers markets, we have access to a lot of local organic produce, which is amazing. So it's very easy to buy organic only and local and non-packaged back home. However, when you travel and you get to different places, it's usually a little different. So first of all of these islands here, the entire ABC island group doesn't grow their own vegetables. They have a little bit of farming, but the islands are so dry that it's not possible to grow anything here. So basically all the food here is imported, which means that access to organic food isn't as easy as in a country where everything is grown locally. So the question is always, you know, you want to be sustainable, you want to live towards zero waste, but then are you willing to compromise on organic food? And that is the biggest struggle that I think I experience on this trip too is, you know, I want to buy organic, but then the organic is always packaged in plastic versus some of the non-organic stuff is unpackaged. So is it better to buy organic because it's better for your health and you kind of want to go non-toxic? Or is it better to buy non-organic but no plastic? That's kind of the difficult question that I think lots of people probably have back home as well in Europe or anywhere in the world where you want to go organic, but then the organic is often wrapped in plastic. So knowing so much about the food industry as a health coach and through all the trainings and readings and everything I've gone through, it's just that there's so much toxicity in the food with all the herbicides, pesticides, and, sometimes even on the fields where they grow things, they have signs that say don't pass, toxic, or danger, things like that, where they're growing vegetables that we're going to eat. So I just can't go for conventional food anymore when there is an organic option. And obviously, that's sometimes a conflict when it comes to zero waste. In the end, I believe we vote with our dollars. So if you want more organic food, you have to buy organic food. If you want less plastic, you have to buy the stuff with less plastic. Or we can always, contact the companies and tell them what we think. But the biggest vote that we have is with the money that we spent. In the end, I believe it's all about balance. And even though I would love to do all the things, we can only do one thing at a time. So don't feel bad if you're not living fully zero waste quite yet, or you're not 100% organic yet, etc. It's about taking one step at a time and feeling good about that. So as soon as it becomes a struggle, as soon as you're putting so much pressure on living the perfect lifestyle of like reducing all the waste and then being organic all the time too, the more pressure you're going to have and the less you're going to actually enjoy it. So the more you can find the joy in making those little tweaks and steps towards a better life, the more you're going to actually succeed. Another quick thing I want to share is about plastic. The other day, I was strolling on the beach in Aruba, and it was not the beach with all the hotels and the beautiful ocean. It was the other side of the island, and it was a very kind of wild area. There were no hotels, no buildings, bigger waves on that side, and the beach was basically full of plastic. I posted some photos about my little beach stroll and beach cleanup on my Instagram if you want to check that out and see how shocking it really is to see all the plastic that's kind of just along the beach. I took one photo of a tiny little part of the beach that had over 40 different pieces of plastic. And the biggest problem that we're facing on this planet around plastic is the single-use plastic. So everything that we use once only and then throw away is a big problem. That includes plastic bottles. We drink out of a plastic bottle for like a minute and then the bottle is empty, we throw it away. Plastic cups for water, drinks, anything like that, paper cups and the plastic lids from Starbucks or any takeaway coffee shop, plastic bags that we use for produce, which, you go into the supermarket, take the vegetables, put them in a plastic bag, weigh them, get home, throw the plastic bag away. That is all single-use plastic, and that's the biggest issue that we have with plastic at the moment. Straws are another thing. Actually, when I was cleaning up that beach the other day, I collected so many straws, and not the bigger ones that you get in a drink. It's more the smaller ones that come with your apple juice and with your orange juice and things like that. So I think I had at least like 30 or 40 of these, and then about 50 lids from plastic bottles. And yeah, those were the biggest plastic items that I found on the beach. And as I was collecting all this trash, I really felt like what I can do is just a drop in the ocean. And I felt so hopeless to see all this trash where I'm trying so hard to not use any of the plastic, at least, the plastic bottles, the cups, the paper cups, plastic bags for produce, straws. None of these are things that I actually use ever. So I also had to remind myself that by sharing this message, by sharing my stories, by sharing what I see and experience, others can change their behavior as well. And together we can make a difference. So, if sometimes you feel like it's hopeless what you do and you're not really contributing to a better world, just remember that by you taking action, you're going to inspire others as well, which is then going to create a ripple effect. And in the long run, we're all going to make a difference when we kind of support each other and inspire each other to do the same. And before we get started, I want to share my top glow tip of the week with you. And today's glow tip is that I want you to take some time to watch a documentary on Netflix that really changed everything for me around plastic. The documentary is called A Plastic Ocean, and it explains really nicely and shows example of how our oceans are in a really difficult spot right now and how you can make a difference with your consumption. The other thing I would love for you to do is just always think twice when you're at the next smoothie bar or coffee shop and they want to give you a plastic cup or a straw and paper cup, whatever, which you're literally just going to use for a couple minutes. So if you can start bringing your mason jar or your tumbler with you wherever you go, it will feel so good. Trust me, I have my mason jars here and it feels so good being able to go to a place and just have them fill the smoothie in my mason jar without any trash anyway. So if you can just think twice next time you go to this place and yeah, just become aware of the plastic that you're using and consuming. That will make a big difference already. And now let's get started with my guest today, Mel Wells, who is a two-time #1 best-selling author and the founder of the Self-Love Summit. And she helps women heal their relationship with food and their bodies and helps them figure out what they're truly hungry for in their lives. Mel has given talks at TEDx and Google, has appeared on TV, was featured in Forbes Under 30, and she has online programs, does one-on-one coaching, and hosts luxury goddess retreats around the globe. In today's episode, we talk about how to finally heal your relationship with food and your body, why self-love is the foundation of everything you do and have in your life, how to get back into the driver's seat of your own life, why you can only heal when you're truly ready to heal, how to use exercise as an act of worshiping and not punishing your body, and so much more. And you can find everything we talk about today in the show notes at martinafink.com/podcast/59. Welcome, Mel. I am so excited to have you on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Love it. So you have helped thousands of women heal their relationship with food and their bodies and figure out what they're really hungry for in life. Can you tell us how this journey started for you?
Sure. So I kind of got into coaching a little bit accidentally because I was an actress and I was struggling really badly with eating disorders and really bad body dysmorphia, bulimia, binge eating. Just had a terrible, terrible, terrible time with food. Was obsessed with it. Thought about it every waking moment of my day. And I kind of discovered at a very low point in my life after losing my dad very suddenly to cancer, and then discovering how badly I wanted to be a mother, and what that vision looked like for me. I kind of realized that the way that I was being around food was very unhealthy for my mind. And I'd become very obsessed with health and nutrition. But what I had failed to see was my self-love, or my lack of self-love, should I say. And that was really the cause of all of my destruction, because I was drinking all the green smoothies, I was eating all the kale salads, I was racking up my superfoods and, doing all of that stuff. But I really hated who I was. I hated my body. I hated what I saw when I looked in the mirror. I was my own worst enemy. So it was deciding to go on my own journey of self-love so that I could fully heal my eating disorder and fully be free. That was what got me into coaching, because I discovered this newfound freedom and peace that I'd never felt before, and this newfound joy and happiness that I didn't even think was possible for me. And I just wanted to share it with the world. I just wanted to share it online. I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to share it with women around the world. And yeah, before I knew it, I had people saying, please help me with this. Like, this is what I need. And I decided to dedicate my life to then helping women overcome eating disorders, challenging relationship with food, binge eating, emotional eating. And then, yeah, that's become my career. So yeah, I would say I kind of fell into coaching accidentally. I just wanted to make a big difference and help women that have been going through what I was going through. So that, in a nutshell, that's that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, it's so interesting how, myself too, I am doing something for work today that has somehow come out of a struggle that I had in the past. So, was there a specific moment in your life where you had like a light bulb go off and you
Mhm.
realized, okay, now I need to turn things around? Can you remember any specific happening?
Yeah, yeah, totally. It was when I was in a previous relationship. We had been really in some bad times together, but for whatever reason, we had decided that what would fix that problem would be if we started trying for a baby, which obviously I'm very, very grateful didn't happen in the end. But it was in those moments of like, oh, shall we try and get pregnant? Like, to actually think about my body carrying the child in the state and the amount of abuse I was putting it through was the moment for me. Because I came up to the bathroom, looked myself in the mirror, and I said, if you are going to become a mum, what kind of mum are you going to be? You know,
Mm,
if you are going to go through a pregnancy, what are you going to do about this whole battle you've got going on with food? What are you going to do? You're going to binge for 9 months? You're going to be juice fasting when you finish, when you've had your baby? Like, you're going to be trying to get back into your skinny jeans? And I knew that my headspace was not in the place where it should be for me to be a good mother, basically. And I thought, like, there is no way that I want to pass down this terrible relationship with food to my future daughter or son. And so I had this kind of lightning bolt moment looking at myself and looking at my body in the mirror, where I was like, what on earth have I been doing all these years? Like, what is really important to me is being a role model to my future children. And at the moment, this is not something that I would want them to emulate. What on earth am I doing? And it was in this moment of surrender that I felt like the universe or God kind of brought me to my knees. And I felt like that is it. Like, I am not living this life anymore. And I had to be willing to let everything that I'd known for the last 7 years completely die, which was restriction, binging, dieting, weighing myself every day. Like, so many rules around food, so many little rules that I kept secret. And I decided in that moment, you know what? All of them are going out the window, because what's most important right now is I focus on actually loving and accepting myself. And I said, if I could do that for a whole year and just eat what I want to eat intuitively when my body tells me, actually start to listen to my body again properly. If I can do that for a whole year, and if I can not weigh myself for a whole year and not do any dieting or crazy fad rubbish for a whole year, then just maybe I would be ready to entertain the thought of a pregnancy. And going on that journey of self love and making that commitment to myself changed my life in so many ways. And it was really that sparked the rest of my journey, since then. Becoming more free around food helped me realize what other areas of my life were stuck and where I felt trapped. And I ended up leaving that relationship, which was an amazing, amazing act of self love for me. But only had I not gone on that journey of healing my relationship with food, I never would have been able to see what areas of my life were actually out of alignment and keeping me feeling stuck. I always say, like, healing my relationship with food really was a doorway of spiritual and personal growth for me. And it's just not stopped since then. I've just continued to grow and evolve and heal all these different aspects of myself. And it all started with that commitment to healing my eating disorder.
so interesting. Thank you for sharing this personal story. Now, someone may be listening and think maybe, yeah, Mel, you're lucky you were able to go through this, but I can't get over it. I've tried it so
Mm,
many times. I won't be able to do this. I can try it again, but I know I will fail. What would you tell someone who is listening and maybe is still in this cycle of binge eating and,
Mm.
really struggling with their relationship with themselves? What would be your number one tip for them to really get over it?
Wow, I mean, it's not like there's not just kind of like one tip, but I'll do my best. So I think when we live authentically as who we are, we don't find ourselves comfort eating, emotional eating, binge eating, restricting. So I think let's get that out of the way. When you are living in alignment with your true purpose, when you are fully authentic and living in your truth, you're not living to people please, you're not living in someone else's world, you're living in your own world and you are the leading lady of your own life. The people that are doing that don't need to, they're not finding the need to binge eat it, right? So binge eating and emotional eating is a way to bury our feelings. So ask yourself, like, what is it that I'm trying to bury here? What is it that I'm trying not to feel? What is it that I'm trying to numb or escape or avoid with food? Go there. Like, that is really where your problem lies. And usually that is, because I feel uncomfortable or I feel not good enough or I feel unworthy or this person said this to me and it made me feel like that. Or, work has stressed me out, or this person, pressures me to eat, or it's usually down to you living your life for someone else, and not being true to who you are. So I think let's say that definitely. The next thing I would say is you will only heal when you are fully ready. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I said that I wanted to recover when I didn't really. Like, really, what I wanted still was to lose weight. And I said, yeah, I want to recover, but really underneath that, what I wanted more was to lose weight. So the only way that you will truly change is if you want to be free more than you want to be perfect, more than you want to lose weight, more than you want to be skinny, more than you want to be the perfect, have the perfect diet or have the perfect body. If you want to be free more, that's when you'll become free. The pain of changing has got to be less than the pain that it takes to stay the same. Because if you are struggling with food at the moment, you've got to realize that the longer you stay there, the more painful it gets for you. But ultimately, you won't change until you realize that staying the same is going to be more painful for you than changing. Because change is always freaking painful, right? All change is painful. You've got to go through a little bit of pain to get to the other side. But it's just a little bit of being uncomfortable, living in the uncertainty. And I think that is something that I see happen so much is when women want to do this, they're so attached to all these control and all these rules that they're terrified of actually trusting. And that's why I liken this to, like, it is a spiritual journey that you have to go on, because you have to surrender, you have to trust, you have to trust your body, you have to trust food again. And that is really challenging for people that have not trusted their bodies or food for a long time. But if you really want to become free, you have to lean into that trust. You have to let go. You have to be willing to let go of your scales, the rules. Like, it feels like you're letting an old version of you die, but you have to do that in order for the new version to be reborn. There's no other way.
Interesting. Thank you. And I think as you were talking about, how we are people pleasers, or probably both of us were people pleasers in the past, we feel like we're not in control. We feel like things just happen to us. We're the victims of the situation where, oh, this is just the way it is because X told me that, or she told me that, or, it's just all happening to me. And I think it's almost like getting back into the driver's seat of your own life, where you decide what's actually happening in your life.
That's exactly it. I was literally just about to say that. Be the driver, not the passenger. Like, life's not just happening to you and you get to watch it. Like, this is your life. This is your show. This is your story. So how do you want to tell it? How do you want to be remembered? Like, how do you want to live your life? What do you want to look back on when you are old? Like, do you want to look back and think, God, my whole story for 20 years was about food and my weight. What a small, what a small minded way to live my life. How did I not see bigger than that? How did I not see that I was here for bigger things? And I think anyone that is in that battle of, really struggling with food in their body, they're not living up to their full potential. they're missing the point. They're missing what they're here for. And often they are just massively undervaluing and underestimating what they're capable of. That's why when you're in that situation, you feel like your primary purpose in this lifetime is to lose weight or to be perfect or to, whatever it is. And it's just not true. Like if you could see what everyone else sees in you, you would see that you're here for something much, much greater than that. So I think dieting keeps women very small. It keeps them very small minded. It stops them from dreaming big because it makes them think that they can't fully live their lives until they've got to a certain weight first, which is a massive, massive problem because we need you in your full potential now, not when you've lost 10 pounds now.
Mm, great reminder. Do you have anything you want to share around workout and exercise? Because I feel like lots of women, when they're in this cycle of losing weight, they're also over exercising or like obsessively, going to the gym. Is there anything that you've experienced as well?
Yeah, exercise is a way to worship your body and what she can do. If you're using exercise for any other way than to feel amazing, then you need to check yourself and go, do you know what? Maybe I need to step away from exercise for a bit, or maybe I need to change the way in which I'm exercising. If you are going to the gym every day and it feels punishing and you never feel good enough and you're constantly scrutinizing yourself in the mirror, ask yourself, like, does this feel like love? And you'll know if it feels like love or hatred, love or punishment, love or not enoughness. It is all about the intention that we put into everything. So if your intention when you're working out is not love, then I suggest you move away from that and just do something else instead, something that feels more loving, maybe yoga or dancing, just until you can start to cultivate that self-love for your body again. I love exercise, but I had to step away for a while. I had to step away because I didn't have a good relationship with myself. And when you don't have a good relationship with yourself, that comes out in everything: food, exercise, other people, money. Like, it will show up in every other area of your life. So you have to choose to work out because you want to feel great, not just because you want to change your body.
Yeah, I love that. I remember when I was like in my teenage years, everyone was going to the gym. Everyone made these like 1 year gym memberships and I made it too. But I went, probably most people do that. I went a couple of times and then didn't go for the rest of the year because I just did not enjoy it. And it took
Mm,
me so many years to realize, like, just because everyone else is going to the gym doesn't mean I have to go to the gym because I'm not enjoying working out at these machines. I'd rather,
yeah,
go for a walk or go to a dance class or do something else. And
yeah,
I really had to learn to kind of acknowledge that it's okay to be
mm,
different. It's okay to not love the kind of
completely.
exercise everyone else is doing.
Yeah, and it's okay to have variety. I mean, I love having variety. I can't stick to just one thing. I need to try a lot of different things. So at the moment, I am loving hot yoga. I'm loving F45. I have just started pole dancing, which is so invigorating and incredible. So, like, I like variety. And, like, for me, that stops me from, like, getting obsessed with one thing. It keeps it
Mm.
interesting, it keeps it fun.
Now, in terms of personal development, over all these years of working on yourself and working on your self love, has there been a biggest lesson that you would like to share with us?
Oh gosh, such a broad question. I think relationships, I've had so much to learn when it comes to relationships. And again, like, I think the biggest lesson that I've had is it truly is self love that is the foundation for everything in your life. If you don't have self love, you will not have good relationships. If you don't have self love, you will never go after your big dreams because you won't love yourself enough to do so. So that's why, like, everything that I do now is all centered around self love. I do self love challenges all the time. I do the Self Love Summit, which is a big event that I put on in London. And it's because I truly believe that, like, you can't do anything unless you love yourself. You can't get anything you want in life. You can't be happy. You have to start there. It really does all stem from us. And I saw this, it was the key to healing my eating disorder. It was 100%. If someone could say, like, what was the one key, the two words, it was self love. It was the key to healing my relationship patterns. The more I began to love myself, the better friendships I attracted into my life, the better partners I attracted into my life. And the deeper that you can go, the deeper you can go with that, the deeper you love yourself, the more you can truly give and love to other people from a genuine, from the overflow, not from like, I give you so much that I have nothing left, which is what which is what I used to do. And what many people do is they love so much that they lose themselves.
Yeah, I see that all the time. The slow self-worth feelings that we need to be there for everyone else first. And
Mm,
if in the end there is something left for us, we can do it. But mostly there is
mm,
not. So, do you have a favorite self-love tip or journaling
mm.
exercise or activity?
Yeah, I think my favorite one would be, what, just like the question, what would someone that loves themselves do? And I think, like, I get my like clients and people in my programs to ask themselves this if they're ever faced with a decision. What does love feel like? Like, what would love do in this instance? If they're thinking like, should I do this, should I do that, should I text this person back, should I go for this workout, like, well, ask yourself what feels like the loving thing to do for yourself, and what feels like you're doing it for a different reason other than love. And that can open up a whole host of different conversations around various different topics.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a popular one that comes up in my program, because I think there's a confusion between eating whatever you want and then eating whatever you want. And what I mean by that is, like, eating whatever you want is kind of like, I don't give a crap what goes in my body. And then eating whatever you want, and I'm saying the exact same word, but it's the intention that changes everything. So, like, if you like, giving yourself that freedom means that you get to choose what your body actually wants. There's a difference between just like, oh yeah, I don't care anymore, like, just shove whatever in that, and people can pass that off as self-love. That's not self-love, because does it feel like love to not give a crap? No. Loving
Mm.
is actually caring what you put into your body. It's actually thinking about it. It's actually putting, intention behind what you eat and how you show up for your body on a daily basis. So I think that's a really important conversation to have. We all know how it feels to do loving things for ourselves, and the more we practice, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, it's almost like connecting with your intuition as well, because the intuition normally knows what's best for us. So asking
Mm-hmm.
yourself, what would love do, or what would it feel, or how could I decide with love, is
Mm.
also like listening to your body and listening to the signs that you get in your gut feeling.
Exactly. And sometimes the most loving thing is to skip a workout and to just stay in bed and be like, do you know what? This feels more loving. But sometimes it's like, is this love or is this self-soothing? And like, is
Sabotage.
it like, yeah, exactly. Is it love or is it sabotage? Like, what do I really want? Like, what is truly the most loving decision that I can make for myself?
Love it. So you are someone who loves to travel, and
Mhm.
also Bali is one of your favorite destinations. Have you ever had a transformational travel experience where you had a breakthrough moment or a big lesson that you learned?
Oh, probably so many.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely when I moved out to Bali by myself, that was just obviously tons of lessons, because I really threw myself into the discomfort zone of not knowing anyone and just figuring things out by myself. But it was such an incredible experience. I think traveling by yourself is the best way to get to know yourself in so many ways. And really see what you're made of, and it gives you the headspace to really figure out where you're going and what you want. Yeah, it's hard for me to pinpoint one moment that was transformational, but I would say, like, that move to Bali, which was 2.5 years ago. I don't live there anymore, but it was such an incredible time in my life. I was there for 18 months, and yeah, was just amazing. Would definitely recommend, if you can travel solo, definitely do it.
Love it. Do you have a favorite dream destination you want to go to that you haven't been to?
I think I've never been to Hawaii, so I would really
Mm,
like to go to Hawaii. I've still not been to Australia, so definitely would like to do Australia as well. Yeah, I'd say
yeah.
those two are like probably the main ones that I'm eyeing up next.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe that every single person can live a glowing life, and I
Mm,
would love to hear what your version of a glowing life would be.
my version of a glowing life. Feeling completely and utterly in love with myself and my life and making decisions for my body and my health and my mind and my soul that align with that.
Simple as that. I love it.
Mhm.
Do you have some sort of self-care routine that you do every single day?
I do not. Like I like to change things up. I mean, I create routines and then I break them because I just like the variety. So I listen to a lot of podcasts and audiobooks. I read a lot. I love to work out and move my body. I love to get in the sunshine every day. But yeah, I'm pretty fluid with, I don't really have something that I like must do every single day apart from wash. To be yeah,
Oh,
I do yoga a lot, I meditate, but like it's not like a daily thing. It's not like I have to do this every single day. I'm just kind to myself every day. I think if I could say like one thing that I do every day is like just speak kindly to myself. I have good like inner self talk nowadays, which took a while to build.
beautiful. And it sounds like you just take time for yourself every day to do whatever you feel like doing in the moment.
Oh yeah, completely. Well, yeah, that's a great one. I'm good at taking time for myself for sure. I'm getting better at saying no to things. And, even the things that I really want to do, I'm getting better at saying, "Oh, I'd love to have a call with you, but I'm only available between these hours because from 8 until 10 a.m. or from 8 until 11, that's my time that I work out, or that's my time that I do my yoga. And I'm getting better at putting those boundaries in place so that I'm not waking up and going straight into meetings.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, like I think that's really important to have your appointments with yourself just as important as the appointments that you keep with other people.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about all these people or who are listening and maybe still have a full-time job and don't even have, this self-care time in their calendar at all. I think it's so important
Mm,
that you start somewhere, even if it's as little as 10 minutes that you do every single day. Doesn't matter if
mm,
it's a podcast, a walk, or whatever it is, but I think the
yeah.
daily thing is so important.
Yeah, and like we can always squeeze in time, if you do have a full-time job, then what are you doing on the way to work? Can you listen to a podcast? Can you,
Mm,
listen to a book? Can you, listen to something that inspires you? Or, if you can't listen to something, can you fit that in another time? Can you take 5 minutes out of your day to just like be with yourself and not be with other people? Like that's like, just start there.
so many great tips. Now, I have a couple of quick questions before we wrap up. And the first one is, what is your favorite healthy food?
My favorite healthy food at the moment is going to have to be oat milk.
Oh,
Oh, wait, no, coconut water. I drink a lot of coconut water.
beautiful. I love
Yeah.
coconuts. The fresh ones are so good.
So good.
What is your favorite book that you think everyone should read besides your own books, which we haven't talked about,
Mm.
but we can talk about those in a minute?
Oh my God. Okay, I would say my favorite book. Such a difficult question, but I would say The Artist's Way, which I read last year and totally changed my life. It's what Elizabeth Gilbert read that inspired Big Magic and Eat, Pray, Love. So she said, without The
Oh,
Artist's Way, Eat, Pray, Love would never have existed. Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. I think everyone needs to read it. It's all about uncovering your inner artist and, unblocking that creativity that you've always had, that is our gift, which I think I definitely did. And I think for anyone that has a business, you get very into your kind of masculine, get very into your hustle mode, and you can neglect your creativity. You can neglect that kind of those juices flowing. And yeah, it was a really enlightening book. I like didn't even want it to end. Like I usually like I will race through a book and like get like in like I will eat a book up and like finish it as fast as possible. Whereas with that one, it was a totally different experience because I just never wanted it to end. So I just like stretched it out as long as possible.
I'm so excited. I'm starting it this week actually, and I'm really excited to see what comes out.
Ah, what you were already about to start it?
I just received it. Yeah.
Oh, no way. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited. What are three things that you are grateful for today?
The sunshine. Grateful for waking
Yeah.
up in the sunshine over here in LA. Grateful for so many friends here. Like it's my birthday tonight. I'm having a big group dinner and I'm so surprised at how many people are actually coming for it. Like that sounds such a weird thing to say, but like I don't think I would have been able to get this many friends around one table in London. Anyway, they might not all show up, but I'm very grateful for that. Very, very grateful. And yeah, just grateful to be able to move my body. Because a lot of people don't have that luxury. So I'm very grateful to be able to move my body every day.
Beautiful. If there was one thing that you would recommend everyone does for a little bit more glow in their life, what would it be?
Mm. Can I say self-love again?
Sure. I think
I
we
think,
can't really say it
yeah,
enough. It's like
yeah,
people need so many reminders.
yeah, completely.
Beautiful. Would you like to share something about your books?
Sure. So my first book is called The Goddess Revolution. It is a book to help women make peace with food, love their bodies, and reclaim their lives. It is especially good for anyone that struggles with disordered eating, bad body image, yo-yo dieting, restriction, orthorexia, you name it. Like that is a handbook to help you develop an intuitive, beautiful relationship with yourself, your body, and food again. The second book is called Hungry for More. That is more about figuring out what we're truly hungry for at the bottom of our cravings and figuring out what our soul's desires are. So I believe that when we are, binge eating or emotional eating, or we have like crazy habits around food, it's actually pointing to an area of our life that is out of alignment or that needs to heal or shift in some way. So Hungry for More is really more of a life book. So it's helping you kind of figure out what that might be. So still a great one for anyone that struggles with food, but it's definitely like the follow up to the first book.
And we will link your books in the show notes. And I think you have a free quiz that people can take to figure out everything about their
Yes,
relationship with food.
I do. If you go to melwells.com/quiz, there is a amazing quiz. It's extremely accurate. I get messages every day saying, "Oh my God, that quiz is so accurate. I can't believe my results are so spot on." And the quiz is, what does your relationship with food say about you? So yeah, you answer questions about your relationship with food, and it gives you basically a personality result, and it is wildly accurate. That is because your relationship with food is a reflection of you, your life, like who you are, how you show up with your life. So the two are very much interlinked.
Beautiful. And we will share the link to the quiz in the show notes as well. Where can people find you online, Mel?
Yeah, I'm hanging out on Instagram. You can come find me at I am Mel Wells. Slide into my DMs and let's talk.
Beautiful. And we will link everything for you in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I was so grateful to have you and to share your wisdom around self love and food and body love. And it's just been a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am obsessed with this episode and definitely got lots of beautiful reminders from Mel. If you loved it as well, please subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and leave me a review so that even more people can listen to these inspirational stories that we shared today. For everything we mentioned on today's episode, you can go check out the show notes at martinafink.com/podcast/59. Let's connect on social media. I would love to connect with you there. You can find me at Martina Glows on Instagram and Facebook. If there is anyone in your life that you think could benefit from this episode in particular, please send it to them right now. Thank you so much for being here today and for listening to our conversation. We really hope that this inspires you to live an even more glowing life. You deserve to feel healthy, confident, empowered, and beautiful. Talk to you next week.